brother. You're just such
So good to see you.
It's great to see you. You're just such an inspiration to me. You've been an inspiration ever since we filmed Dying to Save You. And I cannot tell you, and Becky knows, how many times either my brain's been in a spin or whatever, or I'm dealing with pain or discomfort or whatever, and I think of you. And I think of the amount of things you've had to push through and the amount of things you've had to endure for a long time, long stretches of time. And it right sides my brain. And but you impact me every day of my life. And the only thing that sucks is that I met you so late in life. You know, I think I could have used your mentality and your just your grit. You know, I would have loved to have experienced your story and all that stuff earlier on. I could have really benefited from that. You know?
Oh, well, thanks, Patrick. I wish we would have met earlier too, because we have had a good time.
We have.
And
a lot of
that
people
goes
don't...
both ways. What you just talked about goes both ways, because here's the thing. And it's so funny, Ben, and you know this happens all the time. We see it in the fire service all the time. Hey, I need to call so-and-so. All of a sudden, I'm having one of my worst days, and you and Patrick, you and Becky would call me out of the blue and go, hey, what do you think about this? What are you doing? What are you doing tomorrow? We need to take some pictures. And then we would start talking, and then Patrick would find out, wow, he's not doing so good today. Call me back a little bit later. Hey, what's going on, man? And we would talk about anything but cancer, anything but fire stuff. Becky finds amazing stuff out on the trail when she goes hiking, and it's just wonderful. It's just been an amazing friendship. I know we started our friendship through, and it's almost been a year. It'll be a year next month.
It was a little weird. I mean, we knew each other for like a day, and I asked you if you'd stand in your underwear in a bathroom and let me film you, and you're like,
back in the firehouse.
You're like. You're like,
okay.
Is it going to help the guys? I'm like, it's going to help the guys. You're like, then
okay. Yeah, that was funny. I went home and told Kathy that, my wife, and she just laughed. She said, oh my gosh, are you sure? I said, yeah, this is kind of what Patrick's planning out. And I really didn't have any preconceived notions or anything like that. And we've all seen Top Gun, where Tom Cruise is standing there in his tidy whities, after Goose dies, and
that's exactly what you look like.
And I was sitting there. I have so much respect for him now, because that was a tough gig right there. Standing in front of that mirror half naked was tough.
And you did it for like 45 minutes
45
too.
Minutes. I know.
It wasn't like, just the 1 minute you see in Dying to Save You, the film. It was for 45 minutes.
Yeah. Well, the hardest part about that was turning and leaving. We shot that maybe 25 times.
It was a few times, yeah. Because I never had the camera in the right spot, and you kept doing it differently each time. It's like, I was set up for the last way you did it. Now you're doing it some new fancy way.
Not an actor. Not an actor. I could not. No, I have a lot of respect for these actors that can hit that mark and do it every single time. And nope, absolutely
what
not.
you did for the film is just blown people away. And, I'm sure you as well have had people reach out to you that they saw the film and just felt compelled to reach out to you and say some words. The same thing has happened too. And they're both, it's a combination of both like haunted from what they saw of Bill, but a lot of them say, that's all I needed to see. I get it. I get what these guys are going through. That's all I needed to see.
And we've heard a lot of that. Scott Passmore was just, and I've talked to him a couple of times during
Passmore.
That from Channel 3. We did
that guy,
the news.
Yeah. When we were on live,
we're talking with him out before and a little bit after, and I've known Scott for a while, and he goes, I had no idea that you guys are in this much danger.
Yeah.
And nobody does. Nobody, unless you're in the service and see it. Ben sees it. Ben's been seeing it unfortunately, for a very long time.
Yeah.
You get it. Yeah, it's a different perspective, but Man, Bill, I think the way you've carried yourself through your entire career is wild because I was one of those groups that I just happened to see, you gave your presentation to us to let us know what you're going through. But
Oh
I
yeah.
think it's been crazy for people to see the video or the film. I'm not allowed to call it a video. He gets super
It's a
upset.
film.
Yeah, he gets,
It's a short film.
he can edit it out. Yeah.
It's a
But
film.
for people to be like, Bill's the happiest person I've ever met. Like he's always just joyful and he's this
Yeah.
and he's that. And my God,
Yeah.
like, dude,
Right?
I'm like, I think obviously this film is going to accomplish something within the cancer space, but I think what you've done for people on their daily life to help give them perspective, and
It was
myself
so
included,
needed.
it was like, if Bill can put a smile on his face every single day for 30 years in the fire service,
35.
and 1999 is when you were diagnosed.
Yep.
And so everyone effectively from 1999 on who's ever met Bill Rini, and he's been that happy, bubbly guy, just happy to be at life, happy to be at the station, happy to run calls, trying his ass off to get back to the station to run calls, going through all this. It brings perspective, and it's certainly brought it to my life where I just feel like, man, certainly some things frustrate me, but I don't have a whole lot to complain about. And what I am is grateful for you for that, dude. And I think you've brought that to a lot of people. So
Thank you.
Yeah.
I had great parents.
Yeah.
They were like, my dad was wish in one hand, crap in the other, see which one you get first, type of attitude. So you got to go out and make your life what you want it to be. And cancer was definitely not on my radar at all for something I wanted to do. But then here's the funny thing. You talk about me coming into the station, being happy. I loved the job, loved it with all my heart. And the reason is because you walk in the station, what's not to love? You're there with a bunch of other folks that absolutely love the job and would not trade it for anything. And that pumped me up every day. And that's why I wanted to getting back to a truck. Being on light duty is great. You get a chance to heal and everything. But I've never heard anybody say, man, I really love light duty.
Yeah.
I've never heard that because, most of the time on light duty, I was at the training academy teaching or doing something. And so you're working harder than you ever worked on a truck, 5 days, 6 days, 7 days a week with the recruits or whatever training we have coming up, company training. And it's great. It's great learning, but man, you want to be back on a truck. You want to be with the folks that mean the most to you. And, we did. We were able to really, really gel together as a group. And it was great because people actually wanted to come to work and have fun. And I wanted to be a part of that again. And that's why I worked so hard to get back. I love the job and I love the people. And I miss them so bad right now.
Yeah. I'm right there with you. It's a calling, right? The job you call to you sign up to get on the job because you want to help people. That's what everybody says in their interview, and then you get to fight fire and all that stuff. But every single retiree that I know, when they start talking about what they miss, it all goes back to one thing: it's the people.
It's the people.
And you can't put a finger on what it is, but when you tell stories, there's nobody. I mean, maybe some. There's the fire we went on and this and that, but it's largely, remember that one day that this happened and then blah, 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 whatever it is. It's every single time it's something that happened with the people.
Exactly. And the calls are great. You said a little play on words, a calling, and we get a lot of callings right now.
Yeah, a lot of callings.
A lot of callings right now. And you got to love those people, especially I love the older folk, especially the older ladies. We had this lady that would just embarrass me every flipping time we would run on her. She would bring up something just totally inappropriate. And if I didn't understand what she was saying, she would look at my backseat firefighter, Michelle Billingsley, and go, sweetheart, explain that to him when you get back in the truck. And it's just like, she would hit me in the back of the head. She's talking about sex, Billy. I'm like, oh my gosh. And so I'm naive a lot that way. And And some of the older folks would pick up on that and just, but I miss that. I really do. I miss the interaction with our patients.
Yeah.
I miss the fires the most, but I miss the
Old ladies
interaction.
wanting to bang you, Bill. That's great.
No,
What a great story. It's a
Still
family
got it, Bill.
podcast.
Still got it.
no, shoot. She asked. She was talking about push-ups. You must do a lot of push-ups, and I'm like, well, yeah. We go out and work out, and we push-ups and their turnouts and stuff. And she finally looked at Michelle and said, "Listen, explain that to him when you get back out to the truck." And she just whacked me in the back of the head. It was pretty funny.
Yeah.
So the film's out. It's been released to the
is.
public. It's been out for like 6 weeks now.
Wow. Let me tell you, the response has been everything but from oh my gosh to oh my gosh, from the high to the low.
Yeah.
And I just felt privileged to be a part of it. Been getting phone calls from all over the world. We have people in France that friends of mine that in France that saw it.
Wow.
And I think my wife had something to do with that, but they've been passing it along to their firefighters. And I'm not sure how bad the cancer situation is in Europe. If it's anything like what we have here, they're in trouble, and they may not even know it yet.
I went through and looked at all the people sharing the film on Facebook, and I kind of took a tour. They were talking about it, these firefighters in Ireland. They were all saying that they lost some guys. They have no health protections whatsoever.
Yeah.
They're not even anywhere near a place where they could even go get a screening if that the hospital or whatever even did that,
Oh, we're so blessed.
Yeah. I mean, when you see the international conversations about dying to save you, it's like they're like, we need a Vincere Cancer Center, and it's some people in the UK,
Yeah, and it's really interesting. I got a phone call 2 weeks ago. I think I told you about it from some folks in Michigan. And one of the guys there runs a charity called Neighbors United, and what they do is they walk every year. It's called the Red Line Walk.
Okay.
And a bunch of firefighters walk across Michigan, and it's a big advertised thing, and it's almost like a fill the boot thing.
Okay.
And they have this it's a massive walk. And he was telling me about it, and he said that what they do is they raise almost $1 million a year with this.
Wow.
And he said, Joey said that what the biggest benefit from that is they give every dime of it away to guys that are being diagnosed, because they don't have the progressive presumptive cause laws that we do here in Arizona that everybody fought for.
Yeah. Thank God.
Yeah, the local 493 has been fighting for it since I can remember.
Yeah.
And the PFFA and everybody else have been fighting for this, and we got it. We are so lucky to have it. We're so lucky to have Shukla and Vincere. They're asking me all these questions. Then they invite me out. So in September, I'm going to Michigan, and I don't know how far I'll make it, but I'm going to participate in the beginning of their walk, and I'll be the keynote for that. And these people are amazing. What they are doing without support from their legislators is just beyond amazing.
Wow.
It is beautiful.
Wow.
It is.
What when is that?
It's going to be I fly out September 3rd. They have their walk is from September 4th through the 9th. So it's a total of 4 days really walking, and then a little party at the end, I guess.
I don't know.
Wow. So I a lot of people have messaged me asking, well, how's Bill now? Like, because we filmed the film until maybe very early October. How is your health now? What are you going through right now? People want to know how the spinal cord stimulator is working for you. They're like, is that still working?
Yeah, Dr. Gupta asks me that every week. He gives me a call. If he doesn't call me, somebody calls me. Hey, how you feeling? Is that thing still working?
So get everybody up to speed. Post Dying to Save You. How is Bill Rini doing? What are you going through?
Bill's doing pretty good. Doesn't like retirement very much. at all
I imagine.
for reasons we talked about already. The pain stimulator is fantastic. And I've found that as my body changes, I have to turn it down a little bit sometimes. So there's things working very well with the stimulator, and I'm happy with that. Unfortunately, I still get the little bit of Tommy. Sorry about that, guys.
That's all right.
This he's one of my heroes. It's working really well. I still have a little bit of problems with small bowel obstructions, and
why are those happening?
those are happening because I have restrictions in my bowels from them removing chunks of my bowel and using it as ostomies for my colostomy and for my urostomy. So there's chunks missing, and so you build up scar tissue, and basically your bowel starts to back up. It's a restriction in the bowel. So when your bowel is restricted, it doesn't allow that peristalsis to work properly, and it doesn't your
That's where
your poop doesn't fly through there as easily as usual.
Yeah.
And so then it backs up, and you get these amazing cramps, and it'll put you down. You have to go to the hospital usually. So luckily for me, I've found some ways. I know when it's coming. I can feel it, and there's a couple of things I can do to help mitigate it. I'll go to the emergency room real quick, and they'll dose me up and with Dilaudid or something and relax that, and then I'll be able to pass it. If I wait too long, then you're in the hospital for 2, 3, 4 weeks. And I've done that recently and didn't like it.
If there's anybody I wish would never be in a hospital again, it's you. I mean, look how much you were in the hospital.
That.
I mean, when we were filming Dying to Save You,
a lot.
The whole Mayo scene didn't even make the film because we had length issues. They originally wanted a 20-minute film for FU Cancer, and I'm like, it's 27 minutes, and we had this amazing scene of when you were in Mayo for 4 days. We thought you were going to need surgery, and we got clearance to film Bill's surgery, and like,
they were all about it too, man. They're like, heck yeah, man.
Yeah. And I'm like, is it cool?
Yeah.
I know we just met. Can I film this man's when you're taking out his intestines and holding them above the others? They're like, absolutely. We're gonna have to decontaminate your gear, but yeah.
The nurses hooked him up with the process and everything.
Yeah,
heck,
and they're like,
we'll talk to this guy over here.
It was like nothing
hooked up. But when we went to film, when I was leaving.
That is so funny.
The security guard comes up and says, no.
We were filming in the lobby. You know me, I like to push to see how far I can take things before I get in trouble.
Yep. Didn't take very long.
And I'm like,
the front door.
I wanted to film Bill being wheeled out of Mayo for the scene, and I come in, with cinema cameras and all this stuff.
Hilarious.
Walked right past security, and they're like,
hey, wait.
And all of a sudden we're filming in the lobby, and they're like, hey, you can't do this. And ultimately.
Well, they told us we could film upstairs.
Yeah, I know.
That's upstairs.
Yeah.
This is downstairs.
But they don't know that I'm not some Yahoo filmmaker who's
capturing
people who want privacy, which I would never do,
Exactly. They didn't know that. But, I just thought it was pretty hilarious.
It was funny.
It was just
guerrilla filmmaking.
And it's just so amazing. We've become such good friends. They show up Thanksgiving. I'm in the hospital on Thanksgiving with the worst bowel obstruction I've ever had, and post-surgery. They had to go in and cut me again. And Patrick and Becky show up. All these firefighters are showing up, and the nurses are just like going, they put a sign on the door, and said, just go in. And actually, you guys gave me a ride home from the hospital.
We did. Yeah. It was like,
that was so
tell
fun.
your wife we're driving you home.
Yep. Kathy goes, right on. She's about 6. She knows she can drive to Mayo without even her eyes open.
I bet.
She can be sleeping, and the car knows how to get there. It's funny.
Yeah.
So it's just like Engine 3. Left turn.
You're there.
Freaking at the
12th Avenue in Madison.
Yep.
You're there.
Yeah, but that was crazy. Well, I mean, Dying to Save You could have been like a 45-minute film, but obviously it was being shown at a gala, so we had time constraints on it.
But I think it was the perfect amount of time. I think what it did is it didn't let people off the hook. I've had people call me from family from back east that have seen it and said, "Holy cow, that guy didn't let us off the hook."
Yeah.
It was
That was
just
very intentional.
yeah, and even though at the end it is kind of fun, my graduation ceremony that I call, and that was a fun time, but the stigma was still hanging in the film that this guy's going to have nothing but problems the rest of his life
Yeah.
because he didn't get early detection.
Yeah.
And then Anthony Mock passed away, and it absolutely crushed me.
Yeah. I know you guys were close, and you were both in Mayo at the same time.
Yeah.
And there's that photo, and I'll put it up here right now of you guys when you went down to his room and you were together and you were.
Yeah, the nurses they came in and were, oh my God.
Yeah.
They're just shaking their
Yeah.
heads. We're sitting in bed together, and just talking and laughing, and his wife's sitting over there cracking jokes with us. And the nurse walks in. She goes, "You firemen are there's just something wrong with you guys." And we went, "Yep, yep." And you love us.
So Ben came over to my home studio with Brian Willingham and Scott Crowley and a couple of folks, other folks who were going to be there at the gala to screen the film, and like you should have seen the looks on like their faces and Brian Willingham's face, and he's just like, I've known Bill for decades, and I didn't know that it was this bad, and that and Brian was like, I'll never be able to forget what I just saw, of because nobody saw you with your shirt off, and to me that was going to sell Firefighter Cancer.
Yeah.
Was like you'd show the physicalness of it,
There was one guy, Danny Core, actually walked into the shower at the same time I was in there one day and walked right back out. And he's so funny. He's such a good dude. He came over and he goes, "Hey, Skipper, I am so dang sorry. I am so sorry for you." And I'm like, what the heck? Because he saw my stomas and just it shocked him.
Yeah,
and
it's
so he's the only
shocking.
He's
Bill.
the only one that's ever seen that besides my wife and me and doctors and stuff.
And
so
30,000 other people now.
Now, yeah, everybody. My oldest daughter was like, "Holy cow, Dad!" And she grew up with this stuff.
You had a lot of friends on your Facebook page that were replying to it and going, "Bill, we never knew. Like we didn't know it was this, or you went through that." They were people who were super close to you.
My mom
until they
didn't
saw
know.
this film.
Jeez.
Didn't know. Nope. And I did that on purpose. And I feel that was probably the wrong thing to do. I didn't want anybody to treat me any differently. I would just go get my treatments, do surgery, whatever, hop back on the truck, because that's what I love to do. And I didn't want my crew or anybody else, especially some of my bosses. Now you're a boss, a big boss. And
nobody's still going to listen to me, Bill.
Okay. I don't know about that.
My kids don't listen.
Well, that's normal. Kids,
placeholder.
Yeah, my kids, they're pretty good, but they still don't listen. But I didn't do anybody any favors by masking everything. I didn't want to be treated different. I didn't want guys to think, "Oh my gosh, okay, well, we got a big fire. We're gonna have to pull Billy out. Is he gonna be able to handle this?" And I would have never got back on the truck if I felt that I couldn't do the job as good or better than other folks. And so I trained really hard. When I would come back off of medical leave, I would be in probably the best shape of anybody on the truck.
Yeah.
And then, but towards the end, when I started getting the infections really bad, they said no more. And it was only 2 months, where they pulled me out, but it's still, it was devastating. And by not telling people what it was really like, it's like saying, yeah, cancer's no big deal. Don't worry about it, guys.
Yeah.
And so guys didn't worry about it. Well,
Yeah.
freaking if Rini can do it, that freaking, he's not that bad to the bone.
In the new movie that we're halfway through filming, The Last Firefighters, there's a firefighter in it who knew of, when we were talking while we were interviewing him, we were talking about his, when did, firefighter cancer like pop up on his radar? When did you start hearing about it? And he knew all about you, but they looked at you as an anomaly, like that it wasn't like, oh no,
Yep.
like, but now it's like a lot of guys.
Well, Gary Picari died shortly after I got on the job, and he was a captain, and he contracted. And correct me if I'm wrong. I hope somebody will correct this. He didn't get presumptive cause.
I couldn't.
I don't
speak
think
to
it was there.
I'd have to ask. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think he did. I'm pretty certain he didn't. Brian Moore and I've talked about this. And Brian Moore, holy cow, what an asset. We're losing him real soon. Jan Rogers, another great asset for families, and to be able to muddle through the whole medical stuff, with presumptive cause. But in the beginning, I was the second guy.
Yeah.
And then
And now
it's like
hundreds.
It's epidemic.
Yeah.
It's epidemic.
Dr. Shukla said at our Firefighter48 event in April that she's on the stage talking to everybody. And she said now when they screen 100 firefighters, they're getting between 10 and 12 cancers. I mean, she said the general population is 1, maybe 2 out of 100 that they would randomly screen. But she says she thinks the statistics are going to be updated, that it's far worse scenario than it is being. Right now it's like you have a 9% higher chance of getting cancer than the general pop. That number is going to change, and a 14% chance of higher chance of dying from cancer. That's going to change because you guys are getting really rare cancers, like Anthony Mock, who had 2 rare cancers simultaneously.
Crazy.
Right. And you're getting it super young, and it's I'm so glad we made Dying to Save You and are making
So
this
am I.
new film, man.
It's been a life-changing event for me. I had no aspirations to do anything like that. And after talking to you and Becky, and you did a good job explaining the real needs. And so
just try, brother,
we did
man.
it. We did it. And we put that thing together. You did all the freaking amazing filming, and now you're reaping the rewards from it. We're seeing guys that are actually getting tested. And I was talking to a friend of mine, Tamara, from Michigan. She came down she's representing the walk, and she was telling me that the reason firefighters, she's really incredibly smart, don't want to know is they don't want to face their mortality.
Sure.
We just don't.
Yeah.
We'll face everybody else's mortality.
Yeah.
We'll help you through that, but we don't want to know in the least.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, guys and gals out there in podcast
Internet
land.
Yeah.
Podcast land. You want to know as soon as you can, because
tell them
when
why.
you do know, and if you've waited, you get to be like me. You get to the longer you wait, the more painful and the more long lasting the effects are, and less options. And options, as a fire community, we look at our options.
Yeah.
You pull up on scene to a house fire, we know what we're going to do. We're going to pull a hand line. We pull up to an apartment complex, we have to think about more options.
Yeah.
You wait, the longer you wait, the more options are taken off the table.
And this film never would have been made if it wasn't for the 493 Foundation, Brian Willingham, wanting to put firefighter cancer front and center by putting together the FU Cancer Gala, which sort of created the opportunity to make this film. And I'm grateful to those guys for. It's an investment to make films. These are not cheap to make.
No.
They take a lot of time, and a lot of experts have to have their hands on it to make a beautiful thing on the other end.
But they understand the reach that comes from that.
Yeah. And it was very progressive of them to go, in my opinion, Brian is like lifting the weight of the nation for he's making this film, but it benefits every other local out
Yeah, it's
there.
being used
and
for legislation across the country now.
yeah, like they're saying
showing it.
they're marching that in and showing it to their senator, going, "This is what our guys in Alabama are going through." It's like all because the 493 Foundation here in Phoenix wanted to make an effort financially and physically to get this film done, but it's benefiting all, which is
It really
great.
is. And just a side note on the 493, they led the charge, and especially Willingham. He really got. I don't know where he gets his energy or time from. I'd love to have a bottle of that, whatever it is.
A bottle
Some
of
people call it
Willingham.
meth, but I don't know. If it's meth, I'll take it. If I can be as energetic and have my fingers in as many pies as he does. But what they did as a legislative group, our union, Local 493, was miraculous in getting these presumptive cause laws passed. And, me and a couple other guys would show up down there, hammer legislators and stuff like that. But when they saw the 493 coming in force, they're like, okay, let's get.
And what a
I
good
guess
thing
it's
they
time
did
to
for
get down.
everybody. Just a really great leadership.
And it's good for everybody. It's not just good for the firefighters. It's good for the community. You don't want your people that are coming to help you to be sick.
Yeah.
You want good, healthy, strong, younger people. You don't want an old guy like me coming to your house when it's on fire, but you want these folks to be healthy. And that legislation really helped. And what that also did is it brought us together with Dr. Shukla.
Yeah.
Kara Kochbrenner was friends with Dr. Shukla because she was our last fire chief before Mike Duran, and she got breast cancer. That's how she met Dr. Shukla. And they got into a conversation, and she invited Dr. Shukla to take a look at what could we do? What could we do here? And she has been amazing. Dr. Shukla has been her and her staff, Bannings, Dr. Pritchard, everybody has just been absolutely amazing. And without them, I guarantee you, we'd have probably 4, maybe 5 firefighter funerals a year from cancer just in Phoenix.
I bet you're right.
Well, that brings up something too when you talk about without their intervention or if she hadn't done anything. But you said something in the film that kind of resonated with me. You said at the end of that thing, you said once you retire, was it 5 minutes later?
Yep, it's Bill, Captain Who.
Captain Who.
But I mean, I'll ask this too. I mean, Tommy just walked in, but have you processed the fact that that's actually not true about you yet? Like the idea that, no, I mean, and I'm being serious about it. How many of our guys have gotten tested, caught cancer early? I have a really good friend of mine. I was close with Anthony. It's really hard for me actually to even discuss these things because we won't be able to ask Anthony that. And I'm looking to hear what Tommy is. But you guys are going to leave the job and nobody's going to say Bill Who. Nobody's going to say Tommy Who. They're going to say, those are the guys that did that film that got a whole bunch of people screened. My buddy who, and I won't bring up his name here, but he's going through prostate cancer treatment right now. He had no intentions of getting screened. That's for other people. I should be good. You know what I mean? Like think about how many people got screened because you guys did this whole thing. And to your point, I'm going to walk away from this job and people are going to say Ben Who, and there's going to be a lot
I doubt that.
I'm 100% fine with that. I really am. Right? I mean, to your point, it's okay because the people who I'm important to are important to me, but nobody's ever going to say Bill Who. Nobody's ever going to say Tommy Who. Like, have you processed that? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
No, I haven't processed that. I still, when I drive by Station 50, sometimes I if I'm not in a hurry, I'd like to stop in, and then I think, there's probably nobody there that remembers me, or new guys and stuff. It's only been 7 months.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
And but I have not processed that. I still.
It's pretty cool though, right?
It's humbling.
Yeah.
You told me
it's hard to believe.
You told me on the phone at some point that I hope so. That you hoped that, or you originally thought you just wanted to be known as being a good captain, and
That's
and that if
Right.
people remembered Bill Rini as a good captain, but you're so much more, and not just to this department, but to departments across the country and across the nation. You've given them, but you opening up and being vulnerable in this film has given them a thing that they can march into a room and show a mayor or show like, and they can go, this is what our guys are going through too. You have, I think you've been like a pivot point, you know, for this whole topic. More work needs to be done, clearly, because you know it continues to be an under-messaged topic. But you, man,
Well, thank you,
your
Patrick,
vulnerability and Tommy's vulnerability and Anthony's vulnerability, and putting it all out there has made the film as effective as it is. You know, that you guys didn't hold back. You put it out there for the guys.
I got to tell you, I disagree a little bit, because I think the message that made the most difference to everybody, if they watch the whole thing, is Tommy and Anthony talking about their mortality at that point. I never thought I was going to die. Never crossed my mind. I prayed for death.
Yeah.
And you know, yeah. I think I mentioned that in the seminar that you were in, you know, the what was it, ISOS class.
Yeah.
And that was a real thing. I did not want to, I was in so much pain all the time after surgeries, and they couldn't control it. And I just wanted to go. But the message that Tommy and Anthony put out there, that to me, that should cripple anyone who has any misconceived conceptions about what the dangers are in firefighting. They got to know that this is never in the back of our minds. We don't even think about the cancer. We do now.
Yeah.
And these young kids that are coming up now, and I just got a chance to talk at the academy to these guys that are getting ready to start the academy next week, I believe. To me, that's heroic as heck, because these guys are going in, guys and gals are going into it knowing that they're going to get cancer. Yeah. There's a good chance that they could get sick if things don't change. Now, with everything the Local 4093 has done and what you've done with this movie, and we can talk about it. I've talked about it in front of Congress before, and the only person that remembers that I was there is Dr. Shukla. You know, and maybe a couple of the legislators that I used to bug all the time, sit outside their office with David Ranke and just wait until we'd follow them into the bathroom sometimes. They're glad. They were so happy to pass that after a while. They didn't have to see us, but
Bill,
but when
behind him in the stall, like
yeah, we would. And if it was a lady, we would wait outside the door. Dave Ranke was amazing. They should call this the Dave Ranke presumptive cause law, because he did so much behind the scenes. I don't even think you know, Ben, how much he did. He was always in somebody's ear, even when he was at his sickest before he passed away. Wow. He's just an amazing guy. Wow. And you're right. That's all I ever wanted to be, was a captain.
A good captain.
And I wanted to be a good captain. I wanted to take care of my people, and they took, oh my gosh. Part of being a great captain, I saw great captains, and I wanted to live up to that. I don't think I ever made the great part, but I thought I was a good captain because I saw the way people cared about me when I would get sick. My crew would come and they would take care of everything at my house and things like that. And people would like to come to work at our station because they loved the energy that was there. And it wasn't, you know, we didn't treat anybody poorly. We joked around a lot. We had a good time. And that to me was so satisfying. I was glad I ended my career on that. And I missed the job. And that means that I left a little bit too early, but I didn't leave the job hating the job, which means you left too late.
Yeah. Oh,
so
yeah. Well said. What's excuse me. So what's next for you? Retirement? What are you doing?
Oh, I don't know. Holy cow.
Just whatever the heck you want because you're retired?
Yeah. I just need to heal up a little more. I like working with you guys and doing the cancer stuff. Scott Walker's in town now, and I think he's been doing some. He's an ex-Phoenix chief, and I think he's doing some stuff with Vincier, and I'd like to get a little healthier so I can get on board with helping out a little bit more. But relaxing, enjoying my family.
You're gonna help me with the new film. You know that we've talked about it. And
I just
you're doing it. You're doing it.
Yeah, only because you make me.
No, I'm not gonna beg you. You say yes because you want to help.
See,
the storyline's changing of the new film now. Patrick's a bully.
I mean,
Awesome.
we're showing up at your house with cameras and lights just like last time.
It's so funny that nurse from Michigan, Tamara, when she showed up at the house, she looked at that wall and she goes,
she knows
"Hey,
it.
this
That's
is where they
real."
filmed that." And she thought we were at a museum or something somewhere.
It does look like a
tourist spot.
museum. You
It
got to see
is.
Bill's house at some point, Ben. It's.
Oh yeah, come over anytime.
We walked in and I'm like, what the? His
Oh,
wife
my
is so
wife's-
creative.
She
and,
is.
Yeah, I've never seen.
She
it
is
like
an artist. It's just incredible, and just what an amazing support. And that's another thing. I had so much good support at home. That's why folks didn't know much about what was going on. I had great support.
And a full house too. You got your
Yeah.
kids living
Yeah.
with you, and they're adult, and
Yeah. And you got Carrie Ramella that's going to be on one of your episodes here pretty soon. What an amazing, wow. She was a resource. We have a ton of resources out there for folks. And this film has brought that fact out that we have more resources than people actually think. And Brian's been trying to get us to take advantage of a lot of those resources, but we're firefighters. We don't,
yeah.
we
talked
can,
about with her.
we can
Yeah.
do it.
My arm's
We
still
can do-
attached. I don't have to do anything.
Yeah. I lost one arm. I can still walk with two legs and pull a hand line with the other arm. We're built that way, and thank goodness.
Yeah.
But I had so much support at home. I can't imagine. I don't know of anybody else that would have put up with me that way, except for Kathy. She just blows everybody's minds. When you met her, I mean, she's just the sweetest.
Yeah.
She's like a kindergarten teacher on crack.
Yeah, I think both Becky and I were like,
we
we're
need
so
more detail
glad.
after this of what that looks like.
Just super hyper.
All right.
Yeah, no, but Becky and I both were like, oh my God, she's the perfect wife for Bill. Like that he needs that amazing positivity and energy, and you got it, man.
Non-stop energy.
Yeah,
she's
a
got
good
this
soul.
non-stop, just you walk into a room, and just one guy told us right before we got married. I think he was our bishop at the time. He told us, he goes, "Hey, you guys are going to have 4 or 5 kids, and they're all going to be premature. They're going to want to come out and play."
Once they find out where they're being born, they're gonna be
Oh,
like,
my
"No, get out
gosh.
quick."
Yeah, so I've had great support from the department. 493. If I needed something, all I'd have to do is make a call. If Kathy's the one that made most of the calls,
Yeah, I
because
bet.
she'd go, he ain't gonna call. So she would call. Ray Mahone would come over and go, "Hey, what's going on, man?" Or Carrie Ramella would drop everything. She was on vacation once, and I was going through. They cut me off on all the pain meds and the benzodiazepines, and I almost went into seizure.
Jesus.
And she was on vacation. She arranged everything. My crew came and got me, took me to the hospital, got me into a rehab, and I was able to. And rehab's not a bad thing. When you hear about somebody going through drug rehab, it's probably a good thing.
Is it a good time?
It was hard, but I learned so much.
Yeah.
I learned so much, and I learned how to deal with, because I knew I was going to have more surgeries and more medications.
Yeah. Hardcore
And I was going to
meds.
get hardcore Dilaudid,
Yeah.
liquid Dilaudid.
Yeah.
They sent home with
Yeah,
me.
and that can
And-
get you hooked the first time, man.
5 days. They say 5 days, and you can be
Wow.
hooked. And I've had to withdraw from that after every
Yeah,
single
but what else are
operation.
gonna do? You can't just be in 10 out of 10 pain and just drive you insane.
No, and it does. But
But yeah, that's a real reality of getting addicted to it.
it really
It's
is.
like they fix one problem and create a whole nother one that you gotta.
Yeah, and that's why I felt so bad for Anthony. There's when I went and visited him from my room at Mayo to his room, it was only like 100 feet away, and I was getting discharged that day. If I would have known he was there,
I missed you. It's the day I texted you,
yeah,
like I just
yeah,
left.
yeah, that's right, that's right. Um, and so I walked in there, and it's like, and he was in such pain, and the nurse walked in before we had crawled into bed together, and hit him with some Dilaudid, and you could just see that wash over him, and I thought, man, I guess that's the way I look when I'm actually able to relax and get the pain under control. And I felt so bad for him because he was having he truly was suffering, and nobody out there in this world needs to suffer like that.
Yeah. But boy, was he strong.
Oh,
I mean, what that guy was chiseled
man,
in
he was
strength.
my hero. He truly was heroic.
I mean, he would get up and then he'd go to radiation and then he'd go to the gym and then he'd go have lunch with somebody, and he did this every day. But just I saw him. I was there when he was getting blasted with radiation,
Oh my God.
and it was I think it was daily for a while, right? Or 5 days a week.
Yeah, it goes
and
5 days a week. You get the weekends off usually.
But what a tremendously strong individual who didn't want to ruin everybody else's day that he had
He
cancer.
would go and open up the gates for he would set up the ball fields for girls
Yeah.
softball and stuff
Yeah.
after doing treatments and
Yeah.
everything. And then he would go
Yeah.
and coach the
Yeah.
team. And it's like, so I called him up one day. He goes, yeah, I'm opening the gates, or he was closing down for the night. And I said, well, hey, because it's not far from my house. I said, let me come over and give you a hand. He goes, no, I got my father-in-law's here, and Brian Parks, who's my booter captain, and they were, and I thought, wow, I should just go. But I thought, you know what? That's good time that he's spending with his father-in-law. And I know Brian appreciated every second of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, what a strong guy. He never,
Incredible.
There's
never
stuff,
complained.
there's stuff to learn about from Tommy. There's stuff to learn from Anthony. There's stuff to learn from you. And as a filmmaker, it was just like an honor to be amongst these strong men who. Again, it just made me feel like a pussy all the time. I complain about a headache. It's like then I think what you've been through, and I complain that I'm worried about something. And Tommy was worried. He's got kids and a wife and a
tumor
cute
the size
house,
of a freaking
tennis
grapefruit.
ball. I mean, that's scary freaking stuff to hear.
It's
Whether you're a
super
firefighter
scary.
or a regular human, it's scary to hear that there's something that big inside of you and it's trying to kill you.
Yep.
You
And
know?
you look at him now. Look at Tommy now.
Thank God he
He's
learned about it.
freaking strong.
I know.
Just
Hug him on the way out. He'll crush you.
yeah. I had to tell him, careful. I'm old and fragile.
Yeah, I know. You gotta say that to like Doug Myers. It's like you just smashed me between two pieces of concrete when you hugged me. It's like I don't know if you know how hurtful it is when you hug me. It's like I don't know how to explain it, but Bill.
But we feel, I know I can speak for Tommy and Anthony. We felt very privileged to be able to have you film our experiences. We feel honored that people are actually watching. And it's making a difference.
And thank you for putting it all out there.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
I could not have made that film if you guys didn't have the willingness to be vulnerable and say the hard things and show those things. I have no doubt that it has benefited so many people that you did that. So it was all worth it.
Doing the work right now, and it's showing. Like you said, it's going to House of Representatives all over the country.
I love it. It's like a tool that people are tucking under their arm and they're running it into the end. So it's like, take the film, show it to whoever needs to be influenced, because this frames out the reality of what's going on and the experience of what the guys are going through.
Chief Greg Reese from Tempe Fire, and I'll just mention this real quick. He's a great friend of mine, and he's right now he's the fire chief and the deputy city manager for Tempe. He brought Dying to Save You into the council meeting and made them watch the first 10 minutes of it.
Yeah.
And he said there was silence.
How can there not be?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
It's not like you, in those first 6.5 minutes, it's not like you look down and check your email. I mean, you
Yeah, what are you
can't
gonna do?
look
Yeah.
away. It's like a monologue that is being delivered of the most important information. It's just, yeah.
Well, we appreciate you putting it out there, and you know, and I never thought about doing a film on firefighter cancer.
But boy, did one need to be done.
Yeah, thank goodness you guys did it.
Very
Thank
quickly,
goodness the
rounded up
local-
all the right guys to pull it off too. You know, it was all timing was beautiful. It's like everything worked out for this film to just. We only had 9 weeks, man.
I know
you
that's crazy.
And I was actually done a week early. It's like
Which
I'm
is
like
weird.
I'm like
Yeah.
okay. I'm like
Fine.
okay. I need 15
cutting
weeks.
I've never done that before. I've never
15
completed a project early.
Best I can do is 6.
Yeah.
But it was like I need 15 weeks to do this. I got 9, and I got it done a week early.
Just like Scotty on Star Trek. Give him an overestimate and
Yeah.
then just look like a miracle worker at the end.
Pretty much. But
He's
Bill,
awesome.
thanks
Thank
for
you. Thank you.
being here today.
You're
It's
welcome.
always
Thank you for
amazing.
having me.
It's great to see you,
Love you
and
guys. Really do.
and we'll have you on again for sure.
I hope so.
All right, man.
It'll be fun.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
Peace out.
Peace out.